morning, everybody. It's your boy D Max. So let's talk about it. Yeah, I said it. America loves an image, but they do not love a truly good person. This is my topic for today. And this rings so true across so many fronts. And I just want to explore it a little bit and kind of bring this topic out a little bit because we are so caught up in images that we lose our identity oftentimes being caught up in images. And, I look often at people who go out here on a regular basis and they work so hard to put on this facade and this mask in front of everybody to make themselves appear to be something that they're truly not. And so whenever I'm dealing with this, I get frustrated because it's one thing to be a respectful person. It's one thing to behave in public. It's one thing to have civility and things like that. But it's a whole nother thing to portray an image of civility while you're really a villain behind the scenes. And this is the point that I'm getting to because America goes through great lengths to build up a certain image about America in itself. And we bought into it, but the rest of the world is not buying into it. And if you go to any other country and now you're on the outside looking into America, then you'll see for yourself that our image is skewed. It's very skewed within the United States. Um, I often look at people, man, and I say this, they have image consultants, people who tell them how they should act. You had a show called Scandal where Olivia Pope was famous or infamous for switching the narrative and changing the image of people and making people look better in the eyes of the public. That was her job, and she got paid very well to do that job. And there are people out here in this world that get paid very well to do damage control. They're called PR, public relations people. And what these people do, they come in and they tell you what to do when you've messed up your image in order to regain that image from the public. And for instance, one very small example, real quick, is Rudy Giuliani. As we know, Rudy Giuliani is the face of infamy right now. He's looked at as a supervillain. He's not that lovable mayor that everybody cherished at one point in time. He destroyed that whole entire image. And so what did he do to try to change his image? He's going to go on The Masked Singer to try to do some public relations, to try to do some damage control and change his image in the eyes of the people. Because right now, America sees Rudy Giuliani as a lying weasel, a coward, and everything that is against what the United States stands for. And his solution to this problem was to go on a TV show and try to gain some notoriety or some sympathy through that. That just shows you how dysfunctional the human mind is in the United States. Instead of doing the work to make himself a better person, he would rather go to the lengths of portraying and building an image of what he wants people to think that he is instead of actually doing the work to become a better person. And this is the United States in a nutshell. And I'm not saying all Americans, but there are a vast majority of Americans who will work diligently on portraying an image that they truly are not, as opposed to working on themselves and actually becoming a better person. So where does that leave everybody? Well, now you've got a bunch of professional pretenders. Shout out to Bishop Jones down in Shreveport. He's the one who came up here and preached that message. And he said that he was saying this in reference to the church, but I'll make it even broader and make it about all of the people, because we have become professional pretenders. We've learned the right things to say in public. We've learned the right clothes to wear in public and in society when we want to be accepted, or we want our point to be taken, or us to be taken seriously. You dress up in your seersucker suit or your Brooks Brothers suit or your Armani's, whatever label is out there that's prevalent right now. You're going to dress up in that suit nice and neat, go to the barber shop, get a nice haircut, get your beard trimmed up if you have one, and you're going to do all of these things to make yourself look presentable and look like somebody that people can trust, in order to gain their trust so that you can stab them in their back. These are our politicians. Yeah, all day, every day. This is what they specialize in, is portraying an image that you like, portraying an image that you want to see and that you can relate to, so that you'll feel comfortable voting for that person. And what happens every single time? Once they get in that office or in that position or whatever they used you to get to, they totally drop that farce and they go back to being them, and they forget about you because they've gotten from you what they want. We go through this time and time again in the United States. When will you stop falling for the same old thing? This is my question. When will you stop falling for the same old thing? I see past that image that you're trying to portray. I see past the condescending look on your face and the sarcasm in your voice when you're talking to me. This is called discernment, and discernment is what helps us to see past those things. And so I'm always going to be pushing for people to get discernment, and all you're getting, get understanding, but also get discernment. Good morning, Marquina. How you doing? Good to see you. You said what? Because many people follow these characters, but in reality, their self-esteem is so low that they eat out of their mouth, and their worth is just normal. So they portray themselves as sheep but are wolves. Absolutely. Absolutely. You bring up a great point too about their self-esteem being low. Um, I I go around, and if you meet me out in the streets, I come off as a very outgoing person. I'm very pleasant to talk to. I crack jokes and just a pleasant person. And that's just me. You're gonna find me like that about 99% of the time. If you catch me during that 1% of the time when I'm just out of character and things ain't going right, I'm gonna be transparent and let you know, hey man, I'm going through something right now. This ain't how I usually am, but it is what it is. This is life. And this is something that, you know, it's worked for me in situations, and I've gained respect for my honesty and my transparency. But then in some situations, it didn't work because people just weren't ready to hear that honesty and that portrayal of you. I know that I've disappointed a lot of people throughout my life because what they thought I wasn't, and I didn't portray myself as that to appease them, and it disappointed them. And at first it bothered me when things like that happened, but then I had to think to myself, if I have to change who I am for somebody to like me, or to be around me, or want to engage with me and work with me, then I don't think that's the type of person that I want to be around. And I had to start making those decisions and discerning, why are you really here? What is your true purpose in my life? Either you're going to be a lesson or you're going to be a blessing. But it's up to me to find out which one you're going to be, because people are going to come and they're going to portray certain images in your life. And some are going to have ulterior motives and some are not. But you're going to have to know who's who. That's why I harp on discernment so much. Now, I was in the military for a long, long time, and one of the biggest things about the military is their image. Um, they tell us right off the bat, when you raise your right hand and you say that oath, you're taking an oath to uphold the image of the United States of America everywhere you go. And so when we went to other countries on deployment and missions, we were seen as just that. Whatever that country thought about the United States, that's what they thought about every single one of us that had that uniform on. It didn't matter what color you were. It didn't matter what size or none of that. It didn't matter your gender or anything like that. If you had on that U.S. uniform, then they already had their mind made up about what and who you were. There was no determination between the reserves and the National Guard and active duty. All of us wear that same uniform, and they would shoot to kill us alike, all the same, all the way across the board. And I used to tell people this all the time, especially the active duty people who always like to look down and rag down on the National Guard and the Reserve, because I remember when I was downrange, I never saw a bullet curve and turn away from the National Guard and Reserve and come to active duty. No, all of us took the same bullets. And so I respect every single branch and every single sister branch all the same, because we all bore that image to those people when we were in those different places. And there was no difference between any one of us at all. And that right there did something to me. It was very impactful in my life, and it made me look at things different, because the same way that those people looked at us as American soldiers, as U.S. Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, when we come back home, people here, they look at us in a certain light too. But theirs is a little nuance, because here in the United States, they see more than just the uniform. They see a black man in a uniform. They see this and that, and they'll start to break it down into little micro groups of division so that they can hate even more. But I'm not going to harp on that much, because me and my boy Phonics is going to hit on that subject Friday. But I just wanted to throw that in there as an example of how America is so big on image. Everything is about image in the United States. You look at everything that we're geared towards, everything that we do out here in this world is for image. You wanting to paint yourself in a certain light. When people see you, what do they think about? What words come to mind whenever they think of you? That's your image. That's your reputation. And this is what you uphold, and this is what you portray to society. And so you look, people will get caught because they will lie and they will manipulate for so long that they will get stuck in a reputation that is not even them. And now they're living out a lie because they've shown something to the world, and the world accepted that version of them versus the true version of them. So now they got to live a lie. And you look in our entertainment industry, you see where certain actors, they'll portray a role so well that they will be typecast, and they don't want to cast them as anything other than that type of person, because they played that image so well, and people love that image so well that they can't get past that. And so they'll see that person as that image. Say Steve Urkel. Jaleel White has the curse of Steve Urkel. He played that guy so well that you had people who actually thought that he was Steve Urkel. And then that relates into something else, because we have people who cannot separate reality from television, and they are actually mad at people. Man, Tyler Perry got about six brothers right now that can get jumped on at any given time in any given place that they face a scene, because those men portrayed bad black men so well in those movies, and they portrayed an image that has been a stereotypical image in the black neighborhood, and those guys played it so well that you have people out here that think that they're those characters, think that that's their true image, that that's their true behavior and their true nature, because they don't have the mentality or the mindset to separate reality from the false. And it's happening out here in the real world, just not on TV alone. You have actors out here in the real world. They said that the world is a stage and everybody's got to play their part. Well, guess what? You have a lot of professional actors out here in the world that's portrayed an image for so long that now they're typecast in what they portray to the people. And now they're stuck because if they try to come out and be their true selves, now people are going to say, "Are you fake? That's not how you act." For instance, Charleston White. Charleston White came out and, he was this charismatic little dude who said some good things here and there, but he would say some very provocative things as well. And now that he's typecast himself in such a way, he could never go back to just being a community advocate and a youth mentor. He can never just go back to being just that, because now he's typecasted himself on the YouTube stage and on the world stage as somebody who's looking for all the smoke with gang members. He's somebody who's always going to rattle the cage and go against the grain. And this is the image that he's painted for himself. So even now, if he tried to come out of that, he'd get canceled and people would lose interest, because that's not what he showed us in the beginning. We have artists out here, whether it's rap, music, whatever, and they get caught up in this because they will portray a life of a gangster and they'll portray the life of this gang and all of that stuff. And then when you come to find out that they're not really about that life, Takashi 69, Treyway, when you find out that they're not really about that life, they were just portraying an image because that image made them money, then you'll begin to see and take this and spread it on a larger scale, and you'll see what America has become. This is a country full of professional pretenders who are not actually being themselves because society told them that they need to be this in order to be accepted and loved, that you need to be that in order to be accepted and loved. And now you have people out here who are taking their own lives because they're not really meeting that scale. They're not living up to that standard that's been set by society for this false identity that people are attaching themselves to. You have people out here who, if they do not meet that bar, then they feel they're worthless and they'll want to kill themselves and so forth and so on. And this is something that we definitely have to address, because our children are losing their lives. Our children are losing their lives unnecessarily behind self-esteem. So I thank you, Markrina, for bringing that up, because self-esteem plays a very important issue in why we create these characters in the first place. I, for a long time, I was a womanizer. I've talked about this before. Nothing that I'm proud of. I'm just saying this to make a point, because as a womanizer, I would have to take on every type of personality or character that that woman liked in order to get what I wanted out of the situation. And so I was constantly switching characters. I'd be with this girl, I'm the laid back, chill dude, you know what I'm saying, easy going guy. When I'm with this girl, I'm that charismatic dude who's always cracking jokes and this and that. When I'm with this girl, I'm that quiet dude who just ready to pop off at any given time. I always carried a different personality around with me that I could jump off into at any given time. And I began to do that so much that I began to lose my true identity. And I had to have a come to self meeting and really see who I was as a person because I spent so much time just deceiving people and manipulating people. So I didn't even know who I was for a few years. And man, all praise and glory be to the Most High. He caused me to slow down to be able to get back on track. But for a long time, I didn't have. I had different identities. I had so many identities that I couldn't identify as one. And so, when you find yourself in this type of situation, man, it's a very scary place to be because now you have to lie constantly. And every time you tell a lie, then you got to tell another lie to cover up that lie. And you got to remember all of your lies so that you can keep them in order. And it just became so much. So instead of actually becoming a better person, I spent so much of my time and my effort just trying to build different identities and things like that. And this is what we've gotten into the habit of doing here in America. We will climb a tree to tell a lie rather than just stand flat foot on the ground and tell the truth. There's one of them old North Carolina OG sayings. Well, you'd rather climb a tree, climb a mountain to tell a lie than to stand on the ground and tell the truth. This is the United States right now. We see it in our government. We see it in our entertainment. Oh, and this just recently happened. My girl, one of my first crushes, man, and this hurt my heart so bad, man, but I gotta call her out because I call everybody out, period. So this is my thing. Gina. Gina from Martin. Yeah. Now she's in hot water because she did the whole Jesse Smollett thing. She came out and talked about how somebody tried to sex traffic her, and she came up with this whole concept and idea and this story that she came out and told, and nobody believes her. The police said they don't believe her. Other sources say that they don't believe her. And when I look at the video of her telling the story, I don't believe her either. I have to say. And I love me some Gino, man. That hurt my heart. That hurt my heart almost as much as when Serena Williams started bleaching her skin. But that's neither here nor there. My point is this: she felt that in order for her to stay relevant and in order for her to get some attention, that she would have to go out here and make up such a horrible lie, heinous lie, especially when so many people are living through sex trafficking on a day to day basis. And she has the gall to make up a story just for attention, just for an image. Now she's going to be seen as a liar. Now she's going to be seen as everything that she didn't want to be seen as. She wanted to be the victim. She wanted to be, oh, you're a strong sister, and all of those things like that. And it backfired on her. So now she's going to have to deal with the consequences of the lie that she told. But I guarantee you, she's not going to come out in the public and face it like a woman. She's going to go duck in those little corners in Hollywood. She's going to get a PR team around her if she doesn't already have a PR team around her. And she's going to begin to try to fix her image that she's broken with this lie that she told to try to bolster her image. Do you see the do you see the irony in it? The irony just kills you, man. And it's such a harsh thing to put ourselves through just to try to please somebody else or just to impress somebody else. This is one of the most superficial, egotistical, vain things that you could possibly do in your life. But America has made it so commonplace that everybody thinks that it's the thing to do. And nobody's really giving any pushback or holding anybody accountable and saying, nope, you're lying. So now we're calling y'all out. You can come on here, you can come on YouTube, you can come on whatever platform you want to. You come telling those lies. You come as a false prophet. You come giving the wrong information to people intentionally. We're going to call you out. We're going to single you out by name, and we're going to pull up all of the daggone receipts on you because we have no more time for this. As a country, as a people, as whatever, we have absolutely no more time for this. I know what you are because I see things through a spiritual eye. I'm not looking from the point of I'm not looking from the point of a carnal mind. A carnal mind can't see nothing but carnal things. But a spiritual mind can see past those carnal things and call out those things in the spirit. That's why there was an incident that happened a while back where there was a female who kept coming on a panel that I was talking on, and the questions that she was asking, I understood the spirit behind it. But the other people on that panel didn't see what I see, or they couldn't read into what I was reading into. And when I called that spirit out, I didn't address the sister. I called the spirit out. I addressed that spirit. That was a spiritual warfare battle right there in the midst of that show that we was doing. And the other people that was on the panel, that was like, oh, we can't talk to the sisters like that, and we can't dismiss what the sisters say. No, but I discerned the spirit in which she was coming from, and I addressed that spirit. As soon as I addressed that spirit, it fled. But they couldn't see that. They didn't understand that. And so they were just seeing it as, oh, you just coming down on a sister. No, I was putting a spirit in check. That's what I was doing. And so when we start to see things from this aspect, I can't get frustrated with people who do think with a carnal mind. All I can do is just suggest to them to try and see things from a spiritual standpoint, because most of the things that we're battling are not flesh and blood. It's in the spirit. And so, as we go in this world and as we continue to grow and as this country continues to try to shape its new image going into the future, just know that it is just that. It's an image. It's an image that they want to portray. It's what they want the world to see them as. But we on the inside know that it's not true. America is it's a it's all of us. Everything that you see on a daily basis is America. The good, the bad, and the ugly. Mostly the bad and the ugly, because the good is never truly accepted. But an image of the good is accepted, but the true good is not accepted. Ask Bernie Sanders. When Bernie Sanders was, remember when we had all those 20 Democratic candidates for presidency? And Bernie Sanders beat them all out, only to get snubbed for Joe Biden. And that's how Joe Biden got the nomination, because he waited until everybody else brought out dirt on each other and eliminated each other. And then he came into the race late and snatched it from under Bernie Sanders, because he knew his image wasn't right. And if given enough time, they would expose Joe Biden for what he was, and Bernie Sanders would have won the nomination anyway. And so they played him. They played Bernie. They used Bernie to get everybody else discredited and knocked out of the box. And then they slid Joe right in there with his image of, oh, I love black people. I was with Obama and all of that good stuff. As soon as he got in there, what is he showing you now? What it being with the Obamas teach Joe Biden that he's utilizing now to benefit the United States of America as a whole? Nothing. What's up, Reverend Tony? Yeah, man, it's a spiritual battle. It's a spiritual battle, and these people, they think that portraying an image and building up an image is gonna fool all of the people. It's not gonna fool all of us. You can fool some of the people some of the time, and you can fool all of the people some of the time, but you can't fool all of the people all of the time, man. And that's just a law. That's the law of nature. So, you know, let's just be real with each other. Let's take time to be real. Let's take time to be honest and put forth who you truly are so that you don't have to spend time telling lies and covering up the trail of deception that you laid in making this image of yourself. That's all I really got to say right now, man. This is your boy D Mac. I hope you got something out of this. You know what I always say: sticks and stones can break your bones, but the word can always hear you. I'm out.